And good evening, everybody. On this Sunday evening, we are tracking a lot of warmth headed towards western New York. I'm Carl Lam, and this is the good news that we have been hoping to bring you for quite some time now. I have gotten so many questions from people saying, when is it finally going to be spring? Well, apparently we're just going to skip spring and go right to summer because temperatures will be headed into the 80s. So I would say staying cool is probably the key thing as we go over the next, I would say 7 days. Your fans, your air conditioners are going to get a workout. Probably a good time to test to see if the air conditioner works too, but also to locate where the fans are. But the two things you need to know: brilliant sunshine all week, and temperatures are headed into the 80s. I would say a fair amount of western New York will head up into the mid 80s at various points throughout the week. But really, it's just a beautiful and a kind of cruise control-esque forecast for us in the weather department. This is what happens when a Rex block sets up. It's kind of just driving all of the sunshine and dry conditions into our area. So Memorial Day, lots of observances, remembrances taking place on Monday. Temperatures will be by noon headed close to the upper 70s, near the 80-degree mark. So I would say many areas will be very warm. There won't be much of a breeze for Memorial Day, so it certainly beats any very humid or wet conditions that have been with us for Memorial Days past. But that's what you can expect. Now, as we take a look at future look, there's hardly anything to report to you. Monday, this is the morning hours. Afternoon, nothing. The evening, nothing. Tuesday. I mean, this is classic summertime future look when there's absolutely nothing going on. This is Tuesday. We take you into early Wednesday. Notice we've just had a few clouds work their way through, and the key thing we want to tell you about is that the wind direction shifts a little bit, so it is going to make it a little warmer as we head to Tuesday and Wednesday, as it brings in that southerly wind, but it's not all that impressive in terms of like sweltering heat. There's just a touch of humidity that's making its way in. Okay, this is going to be a lot more exciting than what we just showed you because that was boring. Here we go with something that's really going to kind of tell the story. Now, overnight, cool temperatures in the southern tier, but these are not all that cool. I mean, we had cooler readings on Saturday night into Sunday morning. This is not all that bad by 6 o'clock, but a lot of people may have the day off, so you don't actually have to run out the door that early. So maybe you head out at 8 o'clock. Temperatures already very close to 60 degrees, a very mild start to the day. I would say it's probably a good thing the marathon isn't happening today or on Monday, because it would get really warm really quickly. But by almost noon, we're headed up towards the upper 70s. Again, cool spots would be right along the lake from Dunkirk down towards Westfield, Ripley, and over towards areas like Northeast and Harbor Creek and northeast or northwestern Pennsylvania rather. But by the afternoon, again, everybody getting into the at least upper 70s and low 80s. Very comfortable too. It's not too windy, so that's a plus. And then even as we head towards the evening hours, look at this. Temperatures will be hanging on to the upper 70s for evening temperatures. Kind of ideal conditions if you have any plans outside. And then we take it to 8:30, still very mild. We don't actually cool down per se until we get closer to about 10, 11 o'clock. And then it's still very mild. Notice that the southeasterly flow starts to pump in, so this is going to prevent temperatures, especially in the southern tier, from cooling down all that much. Now this is cool, but it's relatively speaking, this is warmer than what we'll have tonight during the overnight. So by Tuesday morning, it's really mild, and as you head out the door to go back to work and school, I would say that this is really going to set up for a very warm day. I would say lots of 80s will populate this map. Look at that. I mean, everybody pretty much will be at the 80-degree mark or better. A little cooler in the southern tier, but I would say certainly areas in Buffalo, Batavia, and out towards areas in the Genesee Valley, you're going to probably have the warmest temperatures on the map here. But again, cooler right near the lakes. That's about it. But it's not a kind of big swath of land that's going to be having those cool temperatures as well. I want to show you gusts. I mean, this is actually kind of comical at this point for me to show you, but these are the gusts we're expecting on Monday. 3 miles per hour. I can't even call this a wind gust. Okay, so during the afternoon, there may be a few gusts that get to about 10 to 15 miles an hour. That's about it out of the northeast, but it's nothing that's going to like blow everything away from your picnic or anything. So I'd say we're in good shape. Now, as we head towards Tuesday, again, very calm winds. This is hardly anything to really take notice of or really be of concern as we head into the afternoon. So, you know, when we have high pressure just kind of locked over us, the winds don't pick up all that much. You notice that we've kind of gone through 2 days here and we don't have significant winds to talk about. Sure, gusts around 10 to 15 miles per hour. You'll notice them, but they're not significant in any way that's going to kind of really derail your plans at all. So I'd say that that's kind of the general landscape over the next kind of 3 to 5 days. All right, so this is the temperature outlook for June 3rd to June 7th. So this is the tail end of our 7-day forecast and looking a little bit beyond. What is going on? Well, it looks like Texas, New Mexico, and parts of Colorado will be dealing with cooler than average temperatures, but for them, that means temperatures are still well up into the 80s and 90s. But we will be dealing with temperatures that are above average for us. We have a pretty good chance, especially everyone highlighted in orange and red, a pretty good chance at dealing with above average temperatures for that stretch. You'll see that because our average for this time of year should be in the low 70s. We're going to blow right past that. But in terms of precipitation, it's going to be wet out on the west coast and through California into Vegas and Nevada and over towards areas like Utah, where they desperately need the rain. But for us, actually, we're going to be below average in terms of precipitation. You'll see why in the extended forecast in just a moment, but we're not expecting a lot of precipitation through this window either. So that's a negative. Your lawns will be representative of that if you don't take to task of watering them. Now, this is the outlook that goes after that. Okay, so this is the weeks 3 to 4. So we're looking like mid-June and beyond. What's going on? So still it's staying cool out in the desert Southwest, but for us, actually, we are going to be dealing with temperatures that are still above average. So we have kind of a momentary blip as we head towards the kind of like second weekend in June. But after that, it looks like temperatures will stay above average. Doesn't look like they're going to be kind of like intense heat, but definitely climbing. And we'll have temperatures definitely in the 70-degree range as we go through this stretch. But that's certainly something to take notice of. So your 7-day forecast looks like this. It's all sun from Monday through Thursday. I would say it's absolutely beautiful and a lot of 80s on the board here. I'd say the core of the heat gets here on Thursday, but the humidity will be here for Wednesday and Thursday. Again, it's not that oppressive summertime heat. It's just, it'll be stickier. You'll notice it once you go outside. And then by Friday, I would say Friday is when we have the chance for more clouds to kind of sweep in. We could squeeze out a shower, but it's so brief that it's not even really showing up on a lot of our models at this point. It is cooler as we head into the weekend. I'd say next weekend feels very much like what we had this weekend. And in terms of the South Towns and the Southern Tier, all sun once again. This is kind of like what weather is like in LA, where you get to just kind of put all these little sun icons on the board, and you just say it's going to be so beautiful. Hope you have a chance to enjoy it, as we'll have really, really ideal conditions as we go throughout the week, and looks like it's smooth sailing up until we hit about, let's say, June 8th or so. Thanks for tuning in.